one of my biggest dreams is that whatever I do right now wouldn't be considered as something special or normal. So that my students, the future generation of the harpists, they would take my arrangements, my compositions, and play that as the standard.
Good day, Alexander. How are you doing?
Hi, good. Yeah, great. I was in Japan and I just arrived to Chicago. I will spend here 2 days more than I go to Los Angeles, New York. So, as always, traveling, working, playing, doing all the kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're bringing the harp to around the world, which is wonderful. Now, before we go into some of the questions I want to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about your music journey and how did the harp came into your life?
Oh, that was very naturally. I mean, I was born in the family where was music was a very important part. So my mother is professor for the piano. My father is philosopher, but he plays guitar, and he was all my childhood singing and recording some songs. So I started to play the piano when I was 3, and then the harp when I was 5, and then composing, and it was immediately kind of work. I mean, it was never something like hobby or like learning phase or something. Just as soon as I could play some compositions, I was already on the stage, and since then it was all about just preparing another concert, another festival, another competition. So something like this.
So you have been involved in music for so long. What are some of the changes that you have seen when it comes to the harps compared to when you first started?
Well, it depends on the country and depends on the situation. Uh, when I started playing the harp, it was 1995 in Russia, so it just became Russia. There were no harp, no strings, Celtic harp, just forget about it. So I was playing concert grand harp since the very beginning. And so the situation just changed tremendously. We have the new Russian harp brand. We have a lot of Salvis, Line and Healy in the country, and more or less all the orchestra are getting new instruments, and the harp is playing quite an important role. I mean, there is a 6 harpists in Bolshoi Theater. There is 7 harpists in Mariinsky Theater. So there were just 2 at that time. So things changed on the big scale. I think the harp is in the Renaissance. I think that just in general, the end of 20th century was not so good for the international scene. In the same time, we are experiencing some difficulties, especially with competitions. So I'm not sure that Israel will recover from this decades of instability and wars. And I will be a member of jury for the next Israel in December. And I don't know how many students, how many participants will come to participate because it was already 20 years ago the situation there where there were only 8 or 10 on the first round. But in general, yes, we have lack of competitions right now. There is a Bloomington American Harp competition going on, and it's still big and very well presented and very good jury, and as far as I see now, good participants. So and IRD in Germany once in 6 years presenting the harp, but giving a big boost to the career. The rest, we have just small competitions, so which are not playing a big role in the development of a musician. You can get all these prizes, all the first prizes, but that will not give you a big career. So that's a kind of problem I see right now in the harp world. And well, slowly, I think we are getting some more possibilities, and I'm very happy that the latest winners of the competitions they are doing very well. I mean, the Tjasha Gaffner from IRD, she's doing a lot of classical concerts. Remy Van Kesteren won Bloomington. He is doing his own music. Just recent winner of U.S. competitions, Noah, she's doing a lot of her own music and also a lot of concerts. So slowly things are getting on, and slowly the harp is much more presented, not only as a classical instrument, orchestra instrument, but also as a solo instrument, jazz instrument, pop, electronic music, and so on and so on. Of course, it's not easy, I would say, comparing to what I hear from my older colleagues, like it was in the 20th century, with all the development of the harp, and it was much easier, I think, well, less concurrence and much easier to find the position, to find a job, to find the recording. So now the market is much more aggressive, but I think we are moving in the right direction, and I'm trying to invest as much as I can in the development of the harp.
And what is some of your personal experience with the harp that really shaped who you are as a musician? Some of the big moments that really defined who you are?
All kind of moments. I mean, since the childhood, I was trained by very different musicians, and my mother, is being the pianist, she always demanded the harp to sound clear. She never gave any how to say, she didn't accept any excuses which we normally have, like pedals are difficult, the basses, the strings, and so on. No, she was that for her it was like not a big deal. So she was always saying like, okay, I don't care if it's difficult, just do it. Yeah, I don't care if it's difficult to play without the basses. I just don't want to hear the bass. So, and at the same time, I was studying with my professor in the school, Karina Maleva, and with a professor in conservatory, Sagasana Varasyan, and the friend of the family, Olga Shevlevich, was helping, and then Catherine Michel picked me up already very young, like I was 11, and she started to work with me for the next 12 years. So first I learned Russian school, then I learned French school. I visited all possible workshops when I was young. I think you can name any major harpist of the previous generation, and certainly I had a workshop with that harpist. So it was really a lot, and unfortunately, I would say that only now I can use all this experience. Because when I was young, it was okay, good. So I come to another workshop, and the teacher say, okay, you need to play good, you don't need to play bad, and say, of course. And now I understand the details, and now I understand when I'm teaching, because I teach a lot of workshops, a lot of academies, and it's over 200 students sometimes a year. And so now I understand that that shaped a lot. What else? So I started to compose and arrange very early, like first compositions when I was 6, and then I started to do some arrangements, also of non-classical music, like when Paul McCartney came to St. Petersburg for the first time. I arranged Yesterday. But still, for many years, I was under pressure of this kind of idea that the classical musician should be very classical and very strict, conservative, and not going too much in different directions. So I started to arrange really a lot just when I finished the academy in Zurich. I was 25 years old. And then, well, I started to do a lot of arrangement, and I started to travel, and I played a lot of underground club concerts, I don't know, Burning Man, whatever it is. And of course, every time when I was coming on the stage, or if it was even not the stage, in the middle of the desert, or somewhere on the top of the tower in Guangzhou, like just recently, or somewhere on the mountain or in the mountain, whatever. It was shaping also the ears. So I think that every experience we keep with us. So more or less, just make as a conclusion, the teachers are making a lot to shape the personality and technique and everything, but our own experience, like where we play, how we live, what we read, what we watch, what we listen to, and so on, so on, that makes the biggest impact. So I think that just my lifestyle and all this travelings and all different projects shaped me the most.
And one of the projects I'm very intrigued, and you mentioned about arranging pop music, is you have this album called Pop Meet Classical. And in there, you have made a lot of really exceptional arrangements
Yes.
for pop songs. What are the challenges you face in putting in essentially a lot of times a full band with a vocal into a solo harp? And you manage to capture a lot of textures and color into the arrangement. What are some of the challenges you have faced, or what are some of the things you consider when you make an arrangement for a pop song?
First of all, I need to be very precise in what I want from this track. So sometimes I just like this music, I like this performer, composer, whatever, but it's not going to show the harp from any good perspective, any good side. So normally I'm trying to see how it will benefit the harp, how it will benefit the listener, what it will give new. So that's why also my arrangements, all of them, are not easy to play. Most of the time the harp is complaining about that. They say like, why you cannot do this easy arrangement so we can play that? But it's not my job. My job is to take the music and see what the harp can add to that. Why I would like to play Bob Marley, or why I would like to play Queen, or I don't know, game music, or film music, or rock music, or yeah. So why, what that will be. So that's the first main question, and of course using this possibility of the harp to be a one-man orchestra. That's is very important thing for me. So to use special effects, to use all our registers, hand position, sound, intonation, so all of these things to showcase the harp. Well, basically that's my job. I'm just showcasing the harp.
Yeah. And when I went to your concert in Vancouver recently, you really remind me of a knitting figure. He's a very well-respected knitter called Stephen West, and he embraces tradition in knitting, but also innovate and produce new stitches and whatnot. And he always reminds us when we knit, our project need to have color and texture. And that was the image that I walk away from your concert with, because you were playing classical pieces as well as some really bold compositions and arrangement that you have created. And your harp sounds like an orchestra. There's a lot of textures and color in it. And I know you're a big proponent of embracing the innovation of the harp. I've seen a video of you playing the Delta harp and a concert hall playing your own arrangement of Bach's Toccata. And I thought that was a perfect encapsulation of sort of how you want us to embrace the harp. Why do you think it's important for us to both acknowledge the tradition and also push the edge of our instrument? And how can we do it? Or what kind of things would you encourage us to do to innovate?
That's not for us, that's for entire world is important everywhere. I think that in every field, whatever it is, fashion, science, urbanistic art, whatever art it is, it's important to save the heritage and move on developing this particular branch. For the harp is very difficult because of the stereotypes. The harp is one of the most stereotyped instruments. It's normally considered as the female instrument, kind of angelic, baroque sound, boring concerts. In most of the things, we are, as a community, of course, to blame, because that's what we normally present. How we want to present the harp, and unfortunately, we're not doing enough just on the big scale to change the perception of our instrument. So people see some examples. I mean, they can come to the concert of Park Stickney and listen to the jazz music. They can go to, I don't know, Katie Fusco or other electronic harpists and listen to some electronic music. And they can see the harp really as a fashionable, modern rock instrument, but it's just like right now is exception, not the rule. And we need to make that a rule. Otherwise, society of the 21st century, and we are in the first quarter of the 21st century, it will not accept the harp as the instrument of the 21st century. That's the main point, that the people of our generation, the future generation, they will say, okay, the harp is not just kind of a relic, it's not something from the past, it's the actual instrument, modern, and we can consider that first of all, as something what the children can choose to play as the hobby or as a professional education, that what we can consider as our entertainment, and we can go at the evening, not to listen to the pianist or jazz band or something, but we can listen to the harp, and that the image of the harp is considered to be this, what it was always, the unity, the joint heritage, cultural solidarity, and art. I mean, the harp is maybe most recognizable symbol of the art. If you go anywhere in the world, every art institution have or the zither or the lyre or the harp. I mean, on the emblem. This is a very typical emblem for each like art institution or art department or so anything. Ministry of Art also normally has this lyre on it. So so that's the very big throw of our instrument. This is a very big advantage, and we need to develop that. So that's what I'm trying to show. And of course, I'm trying to motivate my colleagues and my students to do more bold, progressive concerts, festivals, projects, because that's what we need right now.
Well, thank you very much for that perspective. And I agree with you. I remember when my son started playing the harp, I make a point to show him that there are male harpists in this predominantly female world as well, and show him the different ways that the harp can be played and showcased. And I think it's important to normalize that image and let people know that this is an instrument of the current time and we can all enjoy it in the ways that we want it to be. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, one of my biggest dreams is that whatever I do right now wouldn't be considered as something special or normal. So that my students, the future generation of the harpists, they would take my arrangements, my compositions, and play that as the standard repertoire, not something like extraordinary, because I don't think that I'm doing something extraordinary. I think I just being a good harpist. I mean, that's it. I mean, I know my instrument. I can do different music on that. I have my experience. I put a lot of work on that, but that's it. It's not that I'm doing something what is impossible to do for anyone else. It's just the harp is not yet there. So yeah.
Yeah. In 2020, you have initiated World Harp Day. Tell us how this project helps the UN Sustainable Development Goal. There are three of them that you stated. So what are your thoughts around this project in supporting these goals? And how can we support World Harp Day?
Good, very good question. Because the World Harp Day was, for me, a very important initiative during the COVID time to unite the people around the ideas which the harp represents. I just was talking about that the harp is this very important symbol and very old symbol, and every single country has the harp as a national instrument. Different forms of the harp. It could be koto or gurjang, or it could be oud or gusli or anything. A Paraguayan harp, a Brazilian harp, whatever harp, but it's still a very uniting instrument. After the COVID finished and I came back to my normal life style and tempo, I would say that I'm not spending and investing enough time in this project, in this initiative. I still actually don't know how big scale I want to have it. I mean, it's a very good symbol. It's very good that we have it and that it's still being exposed. There is still some projects ongoing, like restoration of the monument in Australia, or some meetings, academies, and so on. But nothing on the big scale. So first of all, of course, I need some more people to support, just as, the team to go on. And at the same time, I really need some bright ideas, because, of course, all my ideas, they are good from my point of view. And it's also important to see what the harpists need right now, and where the World Harp Day, as already established brand, could be useful. So I cannot tell you right now if I'm going to really push it forward this year or the next year, but surely in the best scenario, I want it to be every year around the globe, which has a charity goal to help development countries, to help with education, to help with promoting the harp, to help with the instruments, because in most of the countries, then the main problem is the instruments, the strings, the supplies, and everything, and repairing machines, so regulations. So this kind of problems are normally what is stopping the harp from development. And I would like to help the people to organize the charity concerts for the joint case. So in the best scenario, which I'm still trying to achieve, is that we have 10, 20 concerts around the globe for one cause. So for something, what we are doing together, and we're just organizing this concert, and the World Harp Day is just a kind of the ecosystem around it, which helps with documentation, which helps with the weight of this project. So if the application goes to, I don't know, government, to the Ministry of Culture, so they can see already that it's international brand, international initiative, and they would be more likely to help with the project. So that would be the best scenario. Now, I don't know if I will have time and power to do this year, but hopefully the next year for sure.
I wish you all the best in that project, because I do think that there is something special about the harp. And like you said, like I come from a Chinese heritage, and the guzheng is, we call it's like the harp but just sideways, right? And it's everywhere, everywhere we look, and it's interesting how common it is as an instrument around the globe, even though we always perceive it as one particular way. So I really like that idea of having one instrument uniting us together. So you have taught harp for many, many years, and you spend a lot of time teaching in your academy and delivering workshop, like you have mentioned. If you have to give us one advice as a harp learner, what would you remind us?
One advice, because normally there are quite a lot of advices. And talking about the teaching process, just what makes one teacher different from another, and what kind of skills I'm trying to develop for myself as a teacher, is first of all to understand what will be exactly the next step for this particular person, and not trying to make this person a copy of myself, or just, but trying to make the best version of that person. And sometimes it's not about the technique, it's not about the music, sometimes it's about the personality. Sometimes you work with a student and you understand that the problems are going much deeper than just playing the instrument, and then you need to be kind of a psychologist to understand how you can solve that and help this person achieve their goals. So that's I think the most difficult. And then of course is to find the right words, because normally during the lessons I'm talking about the same things. Doesn't matter if I teach in Japan, in China, in Australia, or Argentina, or US, or Russia. It's mostly more or less the same problems with the articulation, position, relaxation, also the movements of the body, the intonation, and so on, and I can highlight one thing. So if you ask me to highlight one particular thing, I can do that. We have the instruction how this is our sheet music. We are getting that from the teacher, or we choosing that by ourselves. So first of all, the music we are learning shouldn't take us so much time. If for one composition it takes more than a month, 2, 3, it's not good. So first of all, we need to learn the composition by heart in few weeks. 2, 3 weeks, that's maximum. After we can make it, we can work on the technique. We can always do some small changes. Perfection is perfection. You can work on one composition for entire life. But if it takes more than 3 weeks, more over a month, this is too difficult for the level. So it's very important to choose the right composition first of all, and then to do everything what is written there, because most of the time I spend with the student just reading the scores. And I know it's not easy. I know that if I take a composition which I was learning a year ago or 5 years ago, I will find a lot of new things in the text. But still, if the student wants to have a progress, if also they want to use their time with their teacher, or on the workshop with me or the other teachers, the most important is to prepare the material. So not to consider that the music which is written in the scores is just it's just something like guidance to play, but not exact. So we need to be very precise. The pedals or the levers should be exact in the rhythm, all the muffling exact in the rhythm, working with the metronome, and making just first everything what is written on the page. At the page, and then of course we have the interpretation, we have intonation, we have so much work to do by ourselves with the teacher, and so on. So if you ask me for the one advice is just being very precise and learning very fast.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a interesting challenge for me, because I do find myself sometimes taking my sweet time in learning a piece of music. Maybe I should take a look and ask myself, is that too difficult for me? I like that. I'm gonna take a look at it. And so
I can explain. I can explain. Just not that I can explain that it's the same like if you go to the gym. Like when we go to the gym, we want like to take the 10 kilos, 20 kilos, 30 kilos, 40 kilos, yes, and make every time the progress. And if you will try to take 100 kilos right away, it will be difficult for you, and you would barely pull it or push it or whatever. And but if you will do step by step, you will push or pull that 100 kilos in a month or two or in a half a year. So the same is with the music. If you learn every week a small composition, just maybe one small etude by Bach or by heart, and with everything. So in a month you will have 4 compositions by heart, and in the 2 months it's 8. So you will have already experience to learn 8 compositions, and then every next composition will be much easier. It's more about that. It's more about training the memory, training the fingers, training our reading abilities, rather than taking 100 kilos and trying to pull it.
Breaking that into smaller step and then baby steps our way to the 100 kilo weight. Love that.
Yes, again. Yeah.
Thank you. So how can we learn more about your academy and your teaching and the workshops that you're giving? Where's the best place for us to find those information?
Well, I have that on my website. I have also Instagram, Boldachev Academy. There are most of the news. And also, it's always possible just to write me anywhere, Facebook, Instagram. I'm also posting there the upcoming academies. Normally, people don't see the publicity for the academies just because sometimes it's sold out before I even publish that. So, like the academy in France, I was preparing the post, and then the organizers, local organizers, called me and said, like, well, we have over our limits. So so anyway, the France is full. It will be June. I will restart the program in Milano for the international students as the guest professor. I will also have some online students. Next year, I will give a lot of workshops in the United States. So maybe I will come to Vancouver. Who knows? Would be nice. For sure, I will come to Toronto this year and the next year. And so basically the best is to subscribe to Instagram account of the Academy and my account, of course, and follow the posts and stories. Yeah, I'm trying to share everything.
I'm going to post the link to your 2 Instagram account in the video description so our audience can follow them. So what kind of legacy do you hope to leave the harp well by the time you retire from the harp? And I'm not sure if you ever will. You sound to me someone that is just going to keep harping on for the rest of your life. But if there's something that you want us to remember or something that you're working towards that would remind us of you and the harp, what would that be?
I hope this is too early to ask this question. I still hope to have twice, at least twice more time, but maybe 3 times the same amount of time I'm working right now. Right now, how many years? 30 years I play the harp. So, well, another 60 years maybe I can handle. The Pierre Jamet, the teacher of my teacher, Catherine Michel, was still teaching, close to 95. And Huguette Gilliot, the mother of Martin Gilliot, the competition in France, she retired from her position in Schola Cantorum in Paris when she was 95, wow. But she's still organizing the festival and competition. She's been 101 years. So yeah, I think that it's still a lot of time. What I want to do. So first of all, I want to give the students. Doesn't matter if it's my long-term students or just the academy students were one workshop students, but I want to give them more possibilities in communication with the harp. Doesn't matter if it's for fun or for work, but just give them the right advice, which will make their harping a little bit easier and enjoyable. I would like to shape the perspective of the harp. And if I can keep doing whatever I do, I don't know what exactly I do, but a lot of people tell me that I motivate them to start the harp, or that their kids started to play the harp because of me, or it was like example for something. So that's already enough heritage. Of course, I still hoping to have more quiet part of my life to concentrate on more compositions. So to leave also some exciting compositions, and also to work more with the composers to write and arrange their works. And I really hope that there certainly should be something beyond the harp. I mean, for me personally, I hope that there will be something in my life which I can do and achieve, which is not in the harp field, which is not related to the playing the harp. Maybe it's related to the harp as the symbol or something, but not related to just playing, teaching, or performing. More like producing, organizing, and so on, so on. So that's kind of hope I still have for the next 60 years. So ask me this question again in 60 years.
I will. I look forward to that.
Thank
I've learned in your social media that you're making your next album right now, or in the process of putting together your
Yes.
next album. How can we support that project? And is there any kind of early insight into what you're doing about this next album that you can share with us?
Oh, okay, there's two albums coming up, and one is more or less secured. Another still need, I think I will need to open crowdfunding for that, because I need to pay the orchestra. I'm recording all my arrangements, classical and game and rock music and film music, and that will be double album, string theory. I will need there some support. Thank you for reminding me. I've been traveling, and I forgot about some just normal duties, like like working on my project. So yeah, that will be important project, and I will need their support. Another one which I'm working right now is a small operation. It's the Bach and Part, which will be published with Pentatone Records in September. And the name of the album is Divinity. It brings together the two composers divided by exactly 250 years. So between Bach, who celebrates 360th birthday this year, and Parrot, who celebrates 90th birthday this year, so 250 years. But their music is very much connected, because it's both very, I wouldn't say religious, but divine. It's both very mathematically correct and structured. And in the same time, it creates a kind of eternal pattern, which is uncomparable with any other music we can find. So for me, these two composers, they are very much alike. not in the style, but in the idea and the atmosphere and the personal feelings I get from their music. So I did arrangements for the harp of Ciccone and Toccata and Fuga and Fratras and Spiegel. And so the album will bring these two composers together and showcase their genius through the sound of the harp. And what I'm trying to do for the first time, which is a very, very complicated work. I am also doing not only all the music on at the album, but also all the sound engineer work by myself. So I'm basically handcrafting handcrafting every second of the album, sometimes going into very small details, just to keep it the way I hear that, because the harp is, of course, the instrument which is, very unpredictable. For this kind of music, I would say the harp, it's very difficult to play that music on the harp. And so I want to deliver the exact music I hear and I play. So I'm handcrafting this album, and it will be available in September.
That is very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that, by the
Me
way,
too.
because I've heard some of your pieces at the concert, and I think you're capturing the essence of both composer quite beautifully in there. So thank you very
Thank you.
much for doing that. And yeah, as a leading figure in the art world, I think that your attention to detail and the little subtle touches that you have put into your music has really add to it, and I also really enjoy how much you enjoy teaching others about the harp and spreading the word about the harp. So I thank you very much for doing that for all of us. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your work. And where can we figure out when your albums are going to release? Is it all get published in your website? Where do we find them?
So websites, social media, personal contacts as well. So website, I constantly updating the website, social media, Facebook, Instagram. Yes, that's the main things. For China, I have Red Note. There is also some news are coming. There's also special group and WeChat. So also those who are using Little Red Book or WeChat, they can join. And yes, that basically it. So also what I wanted to say, I'm always open to the communication. So normally, if people write to me, I'm trying to answer even in few words or without a message. That I like to keep communication. Of course, I cannot answer all the questions, all the messages, but I'm trying, especially if I'm traveling and I have some time just with my phone without the harp.
Yeah.
So that's basically, yeah, that basically it. So I hope that we can also come together as the community. We'll have a lot of possibilities right now in Bloomington. There are a lot of people and people watching, and also next year is at the World Harp Congress in Toronto, and I will come. I will try to spend as much time as I can to meet everyone, to go at all the concerts, and to also bring my projects. So let's see how it will go. But yeah, looking forward.
Looking forward to it as well. I'm hoping to make it Toronto next year, so I hope to see you there, or maybe before then if you manage to come back to Vancouver.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you so much.